I'm Dr. Deb Marciano from Valdosta State University. I teach in the teacher education department. When the pandemic hit and we all closed down, lots of things had to change instantly. So I am going to share with you a PowerPoint of steps that I took in this rapid response, not only for children, but for my university students who needed resources to be able to complete their semester, and for the children around the world as it is. Here's a short PowerPoint, and that will help to explain a little bit more. Thank you. Okay, rapid response, resources beyond the pandemic for students, their families, and children. Those were my students, my university students. Whoops. Okay. I first became aware of COVID-19 in the news as it tragically began to hit Italy. Italy is a place that I love. I am of Italian descent. I have conducted research in Italy in Valdosta, so Valdosta to Valdosta, Italy, and several small towns, and it was shocking. And so I began to wonder, what are students, what are children in Italy doing at home while they're in this lockdown? What I started to see from friends and colleagues in Italy was the use of the rainbow as a symbol of hope, making pictures and banners and hanging them all over Italy. And it said, "Andrà tutto e bene," everything will go well. Problems that were facing families initially in Italy during COVID-19, and then subsequently the United States and big parts of the rest of the world, was that fear and uncertainty, the safety. It was always on the news. They were in lockdown. What were they doing 24/7? So many parents are not teachers and don't spend this kind of amount of time with their children. And so I tried to find a way that would help the children whose lives had changed overnight to maybe stave off some boredom, to help with the actions of closing down the schools. What would they do all day long? And so why did those conditions in Italy matter to me? I've conducted some research in Italy, so we have lots of colleagues and friends that we've made there. I wondered how parents would be balancing the logistics of this rapid shift in their lives. And as someone of Italian descent, I love Italy and I wanted to find a way to help. Obviously, I wasn't going to go there and physically help. So my husband and I started to think about how we could reach out to Italy, and we contacted some colleagues there and offered our assistance on what we could do. I thought about starting a blog that would have literacy-based activities. I teach mostly literacy courses. My husband is an artist, so we wanted to include lots of art, drawing, things that children could do, crafts, songs, wellness, etc. You can see from the charts here. And the possible benefits in our eyes was that it would engage children in Italy in creative thinking, excuse me, that was based on literacy, children's stories, children's books. It would give them an opportunity to practice their English skills. Most of Italian students start taking English lessons in first grade. It would give them an opportunity to explore another culture, because I was using books that were published in the United States. It would provide free resources, and it would keep them occupied in their non-school times. And then the whole world changed. We've lived through this. I live in Georgia, and so, that's the focus of my experiences. And you are all very familiar with the way that this flow chart goes. The state closed down for then 2 weeks on March 12th. And so my audience expanded not just to our Italian friends and colleagues, but to the city of Valdosta, to the state of Georgia. I began to share what I was putting up with professor and teacher friends around the country, asking them to help. I reached out to former students who are now teaching and to my current students, because my current then students needed resources to be able to complete their assignments for the semester. And in the craziness of what was going on, there was not time for them, nor do they know where all of the resources are to be able to do book bibliographies and read aloud lessons, etc. So I decided to provide those for them. My husband and I both teach at Valdosta State University, he in art, and I in the teacher education program in elementary education. The blog is searchable. I'm sure that you're all very familiar with the use of blogs. So on the right-hand side, you can find different topics, and so there are interconnected activities. And this is all based, the name of our blog was based on a group that we belong to in Italy, and their mascot is the rhinoceros. So the reading, rhinoceros resources seem like a great name, RRR, the R standing for Ray, the D standing for Deb. So one of my realizations was, if I was going to be doing this very quickly because of the rapid response that I felt was necessary, I went with what I knew, and that was Blogger. So this isn't the time to reinvent the world and you know, try to do avant-garde technology. I needed something that was reliable. I needed something that I knew how to do. And so I went with Blogger, keeping it simple, networking, getting, you know, people, colleagues, friends, teachers, students. I posted it on Facebook and shared with former teachers, former students who were now teaching, and hoping that this would get out for the use that I intended, free service, and always being able to pivot. I was hoping that my students, my current students then, would be able to post their read aloud videos. And then I found out that they needed IRB clearance to be able to do that. There were only 5 weeks left in the semester, so it really wasn't the best use of my time then. So former students put it up with no IRB interference. But that was something that I had counted on originally and wasn't going to be able to utilize. So in the blog, there are typical resources, follow along, read aloud videos. I found some of those from YouTube and other resources. Again, that my university students, my pre-service teachers were not aware of. I kept discovering, and every time I discovered something, I shared it. We did some digital storytelling. There are museum website visits, et cetera, et cetera. So things that would be creative and spark interest in children and families. So here's the blog. I did a few screenshots, excuse me. The dates are there. I tried to put in what kind of activity I was posting, and then any connection to if it was an online resource, so that it would be able to do a quick click. And we've got some drawing videos, and yes, you use the resources that you have, and my husband was one of those resources. Again, because I was thinking originally that this was going to be connected to an audience in Italy, I did a lot of activities that had to do with that rainbow theme, never knowing that 7 months later we would still be in you know, a lockdown at home situation. So this is just pretty much what the blog looks like. And again, on the far right hand side, you can see labels. So if you click on cooking, any of the posts that I did that connect with cooking will come up. So there are themes that are repeated. There is really no rhyme or reason to what the posts are. I tried not to do it connected to holidays or dates, so that there would be a more universal use to this, that they could be done in any order. And here are some things that I've learned: that when there's a rapid need, you can't just jump in. You have to still think through, who are the people that I'm going to ask to help me post these. And former students who are now teaching stepped up, and some friends did some videos. And so, again, how did they want me to post and recognize them? I learned dozens and dozens of tech tools and resources that even in my many years of teaching at the elementary and at the university level, that I wasn't aware of. So that was a great thing. Another thing that I learned is that my own students, my university students, were not quite as technologically adept as I thought that they would be. And so they struggled with some of the activities that I posted for them and then posted on the blog. And so that really slowed down my thinking, that what I know and what I understand doesn't mean that others do. My mantra has been, through this rapid revival of education, or response to education, is do less, do it better. Don't give them tons and tons and tons of things to do, but give a few things and give them the opportunity to really do a great job with it. And morally, I feel like there's always an expectation or a need to do what you can to help others, and that's what this blog was all about. How can I help others who are stuck at home, can't get to a library, and don't have resources at their fingertips? So this is just a little, I've truly enjoyed creating this tool. I thank the people behind me, especially the people in Italy who helped to get this started initially, and to the local school systems who helped to spread the word. And I wish I had had better distribution abilities. That's my biggest regret, is that a lot of work and time and energy has gone into this, and I don't think it's reached the kind of audience that I thought it would. So here I am at the end, and if you would like to contact me, if you have some suggestions, if you would like to post something, if you have ideas for ways to share the blog, and I'm inviting you to share. The website, the blog itself, is at the bottom here, readingrhinoceros.blogspot.com. And I'm going to stop sharing and come back live. So thank you for watching this. And again, you can reach me at Valdosta State University, dlmarciano@valdosta.edu. And please do visit the blog, and please share. Okay, so here we are back again. I really enjoyed it. I tend to be an artsy craftsy kind of person, so these were fun activities for me. I never have looked at a toilet paper tube differently, or as differently as I have now. Oh, that can be this, and oh, this can be this, and now I've got some snowmen kind of things that, so and I haven't created all of these. These are activities that I found. When you're on Facebook, you see all kinds of things, and so I've shared many other people's thinking. And I think that's what teaching is about, is looking at an idea and making it yours or finding a different way to do it or put your own twist on it. And so that's my message to teachers and all of those university students who kind of got stuck in this time warp of being in classrooms and trying things out with children and then being maybe in their parents' basement for 7 months. I hope that they learned. I hope that they saw some resilience in my example of I couldn't just sit and watch the world go by. I had to find a way to help. And I think it has. I hope that the audience will grow, and I look forward to any comments that any of you have. And please share. You don't have to contribute an idea, just share the site so that as many people can benefit from it as possible. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and I hope I've given you some ideas, and thank you very much. That's been my biggest difficulty with teaching online is I'm a real facial body language reader. And so not knowing if this is making a difference other than a friend who might text me and say, oh, we did this today and the kids really loved it, or, you know, whatever. That's been a hard thing for me, is to not get that feedback. So I'm hopeful that, you know, somebody somewhere is enjoying one of the activities, and maybe it's a model for my own students. And, you know, I mean, I see all kinds of possibilities with this, but nobody sees it. I got some thank yous from my my teacher candidates because, you know, having there are a group of actors who do read alouds, and so that's one resource that I only discovered, you know, in the summer. I didn't know that that existed before. So as a children's literature instructor, that's a great tool. You know, of course, there are thousands of illegal YouTube read alouds, and I figure I didn't put them up there, somebody else did. I'm just sharing it. And then most children's publishers have made read aloud videos okay during the pandemic, as long as you mention the publisher and you take it down after a certain date, which has just been extended. So I learned about copyright law, but I also know that all of my students finish their assignments. And so I know that the tools that I shared with them about where to find, you know, children's books so that they could complete lesson planning that they needed to do. So I know that they used it, you know, and some really thanked me, and, you know, but at least they completed their assignments. They didn't lose credit. They got to learn something. And so it served multiple purposes beyond, you know, what my original intent was. And that's always great. That's what teaching is about, right? That you reach somebody beyond, you know, what your intended lesson was for, your intended activity.